Good morning and welcome to Coffee Corner. We're so glad to have you guys back and joining us. For me, it's the beginning of a brand new week, so if maybe you're watching and you're watching the same day as I am posting this, it's the beginning of a new week for you. But wherever you guys find yourself at in your week, whether it's Monday or Friday and you're ready for the weekend to hit, I hope it's been a good week for you guys, a blessed week so far, and maybe a little bit even of an adventuresome week. I sort of bundle like everything into adventure, so all the good stuff, all the bad stuff, all the unexpected stuff. It's all just part of the adventure. But I really do hope that your week's been great, and I hope that this little clip today might be an encouragement to you guys and just maybe brighten your day a little bit more. So for today, I had something a little bit different than we normally do. So I just want to share with you guys my life verse, what it means to me, and maybe just some other thoughts on it as well. And you guys get to see a little bit more about me, and I get to share something that's very close and dear to my heart today. So for a long time, I didn't really have a life verse. I had verses that I liked and verses that I thought were really significant and important to me as an individual, but I never really had one that I landed on. And then I think it was when I was in college. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think it was when I was in college. I was going through a 1st and 2nd Corinthians class that while we were reading through it, because we would have to read through the scriptures several times during the semester, that I came across this verse and it really resonated with me at that time, and it sort of stuck around. Now, a lot of times, like every year, I normally just come across a verse that is sort of my verse for the year, but this verse in particular has really stuck with me, and I think really defines me and motivates me as a believer and in my walk with the Lord. So the verse I'm talking about is 1 Corinthians 15, verse 10, and I'm just going to read that. I'm going to read it because I don't want to mess it up, so you guys can hear this verse. 1 Corinthians 15:10 says, "But by the grace of God I am what I am, and his grace which was bestowed upon me was not in vain, but I labored more abundantly than they all, yet not I, but the grace of God which was with me." And this is my life verse, because a lot of times, at least for me, I sort of get discouraged about where I am. Like, I mess up, I fail, I get upset, I get angry, and I'm like, I don't know why it's so, like, this Christian thing is so hard sometimes. And I get really discouraged, and normally it's because I'm looking at me and I'm looking at where I failed and not looking at God and being like, okay, he didn't expect me to be perfect. Like, yes, I did something wrong. That's all right. I can get back up and I can walk again. And I just really resonate with this verse because I'm like, really, like, where I look at where I am, all I can say is only God. Like, I could not imagine myself so many times where I was. Like, there's so many times in my life, and especially, once I hit college and once I hit grad school, and even now, that I'm just like, I don't understand God. I'm like, I don't even know how I got here. It's like, it's all God. And that's where that first part of that verse is like, by the grace of God, I am what I am. It is not me. Like, people, when you see me, like, it's God. Like, anything good that comes from me, anything that you like, admire, or you like about me is all God. This channel is all because of God. It's not because I necessarily like being in public or I like talking in front of people. I mean, I think not actually talking in front of all of you, like, is easier for me. It's sort of my way out of talking in front of everyone. But really, like, anything good, anything admirable in my life is all God. It's by the grace of God. And I think sort of looking at that phrase alone and not looking at the context might lead some people to be like, oh yeah, like, just accept me who I am. Like, I am who I am. Like, this is who God made me to be. And Paul isn't saying this to be used as an excuse. He has gone through the beginning of of chapter 15, so the first 9 verses, talking about how he's the least of the apostles and how he's like, I don't think he says he doesn't use the chief of sinners in this one, but like he calls himself the chief of sinners. He talks about how he was persecuting the Jews and hunting them down. He's not saying, oh, I'm so great, just accept me for who I am, because this is who God wanted me to be. No, he's saying like, wow, praise God, I am, like, he's gotten me this far, like, anything good you see, like, that's not me, that's all God. Because, like, look at who, like, Paul's saying, look at who I was. Like, I hunted Christians down. And he's just saying, like, everything, like, anything good and admirable in my life is all because of God. And he's like, and then he goes on, he says, and his grace which was bestowed on me not in vain, but I labored more abundantly than they all. Yet not I, but the grace of God which was in me. That tail end, but the grace of God that was in me, sort of is reiterating that beginning part. And in that middle part is the beginning and end. The grace of God is his motivation for laboring. Like, that's what I want for my life. I want God's grace not to be in vain in my life. Like, yes, I'm saved, and I know I have an eternal home in heaven, but God's salvation, God's grace in my life wasn't just so I could sit and be saved. Like, I don't want it to be in vain. I want to labor abundantly so that grace can be seen throughout my life. And yes, am I going to fail? Am I going to probably fall really hard sometimes? Yes. But I can still look at God and say, by the grace of God, I am what I am, like, so far, even with all the bumps and all the bruises and all the failures. Like, God has brought me so far, and God has done so much that I don't deserve. He's shown me so much grace and so much mercy every single day. And that's why that verse resonates with me. That's why I didn't necessarily say one day, this is my life verse, but it kept coming up so much, and like it kept being such a conviction, and most of the time just such an encouragement of, Paul was a work in progress. I am a work in progress, and look what the Lord did with Paul. Like, he can do that same work in me, and he can do the same work in you, wherever you are. This isn't really a challenge for you guys to like find a life verse. I wouldn't necessarily say that finding a life verse is the end all to your Christian walk. Like, a lot of times I think it's used as an excuse. Like, they just go to that verse, like, oh, you haven't had your devotions in a while. Well, it's just to my my favorite verses, and they just pick a verse. Like, but I don't know. I hope this is a encouragement to you guys to know that, it's by the grace of God where you are, and it's only by the grace of God, but it is so much grace and so much mercy, and God's not done with you yet. We're a work in progress, and I'm so glad I'm a work in progress. I'm so glad God hasn't given up on me and just said, nope, enough's enough, I've tried hard enough and you've failed too many times. But no, he's willing to work on me. He's willing to work on me until eternity. And with the Lord's help, I will grow in grace, and I will not have his grace be in vain and labor abundantly. So, thank you so much for joining us, ladies. If you guys are new here, I would encourage you, subscribe. Let me know that you guys are interested in watching it. It's an encouragement to me to keep producing videos, to know that people are actually watching them and people are interested enough in them to subscribe. So go ahead, subscribe, like it. Let me know different things in the comments below. Let me know what you guys are learning in your devotions. Let me know what your life verse is. Or give me suggestions for something you'd like me to look into or study and share with you guys. I'm more than open to looking for different suggestions for things to do on this channel. So we thank you so much for watching, and hope you have an amazing week, whether it's end or beginning. Enjoy it, and live abundantly, guys. Bye.